Yeah. One time for your mind, yeah. Ha, come on. Just how deep can shit get? Deep is the abyss. So listen to these rhymes I spit. I get right into it. Got no time to waste. Love and grace, it must take place. All that hate, yeah, it's time to erase all the negativity that happened in the past. Built to last like Maestro from the past. The future is yours, but you gotta start now. Change the way you think, how you feel, then pow.
Real people, real stories, real talk. With your host, Hard Rock Jarvis.
All right, people. What's going on, beautiful world? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Hard Rock Real Talk podcast. Today we got my man, far left, go by Pickles.
What's up?
So what's up? Got my man back, KB.
KB Super Toys if you're in the States.
And not those sexual toys.
What about that big purple? No, we weren't.
That big purple thing, no. Anyway, people, what's going on? Today's topic is going to be about the NPCs going on in the world.
The drones.
The non-player characters.
Yeah.
And let's hear some thoughts.
On the NPCs?
Sure.
Yeah, let's kick it off, Pickles. What's your thoughts on the NPCs in this world that we live in this matrix system?
I think they're getting to be more and more. It's the lack of common sense and just the basic thought process to follow one thing to another and then connect that to something different that still connects back. It's like you just can't. You don't have the brain thought or the capacity anymore, or the attention span to want to even try to figure it out.
Sorry, yo, I forgot to do the incense ritual, man. We always burn the incense at the beginning of the show because all we want is good peace, good aura, good blessings. All right.
That spiritual smoke. And we send our prayers up to the heavens, or maybe just right across to the people right next to us, because that's who's going to bless us. I'm going to bless these guys. We're all going to bless each other, and then we can reach out to y'all because we love you. But these NPCs, I think we look, and for the most part, people use the word sheeple. We're kept as a society so busy in the West, where we got overtime to work on, we got our families to work on, and so we, in large part, I think, don't have access. Well, everybody has access to. Let's dispel that myth. But we've convinced ourselves, I think, as a society, that we don't have time to develop ourselves because we have to go and take care of our kids. Of course, we have to make sure that the wife is okay, the house is fine, but we end up in this groove where somebody tries to play a different song. Maybe it's a better song for us. We don't even look at it, because we're in our groove. And that's kind of my frontline thoughts on, the droning people, the people who are just going along with the narrative.
Yeah.
And Trump's a horrible person. That's what I think too. Well, what did you think of his last speech? I guess jobs and
so. All right, man. So that's basically we're talking about the people that you see on the streets that just look like they got their fucking heads in the clouds, walking around, have no idea of what's going on in this world, right? Like when you're playing a video game. I don't do a lot of gaming, but those characters in the video game, those non-player characters, right? Are you a gamer?
Yeah, well, was, and then got busy life with the kiddos, but yeah, those non-playable characters.
Yeah, so explain a little bit about those guys in the video games.
Well, in the video games, they kind of just have set functions, and they don't go outside their functions. So imagine if you set like a parameter, you gave them a dish, right? They don't ever leave their dish because they were ever designed and programmed to be told that they can't leave it and they have to live inside the dish. Whether that means if it's like water and fluid, you got to repeat it. It's going to take the shape of the container, right? So you repeat and over and over and over and over again until essentially you just cease to exist, right? You just kind of follow and flow into the containers or your set parameters.
Right. So yeah, like I said, I don't play a lot of games, so but from my observation just in life and real life is like those people, drivers, for example. You get those drivers sitting at a red light and are just clueless that they could turn on red. You know what I mean? There's no sign there's no right turn on red, and they're just sitting there, you even honk at them, and they're like fucking just sitting there still like, I gotta wait for the green light because I'm an NPC and I don't know what to do until the light turns green. Right? And just people every day walking down the street on their phone, clueless of things around them, walking into light posts, stepping off the curbs into traffic and shit like that, right?
I got a couple little stories. I hope we have a little bit of a couple seconds. So the first story is I was in Vancouver.
Did you hit this?
No, it cycles that way.
Yeah, rotation.
So I'm standing at the stoplight, and I'm a pedestrian, and I'm waiting. So I see a guy across from me staring into his phone. Yeah, and there's a blind guy. He's got a white cane, sunglasses, a stereotypical looking blind guy. And so I'm thinking to myself, I bet you the cell phone guy is gonna bump into
stereotypical, man. Just assuming the guy's blind because he's fucking got glasses and a white cane.
That's right. He can probably see better than me. I wasn't being fair in that moment, and I wasn't allowing. But I thought to myself, this guy on the phone is he's making a beeline straight for this guy who was visually impaired or appeared to be visually impaired. Isn't that one to think about, eh? Appears to be visually impaired. Anyways, I thought to myself, this guy's gonna smack right into this guy, and sure enough, they bump into each other. And the white cane guy said, "Excuse me," and the cell phone guy says to the visually impaired guy, "What are you, blind?" And I couldn't contain it. I couldn't hang on to it. I'm like, yeah, he's kind of blind. The second
he had his head buried in the phone, in the cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Second one was a little bit similar. I'm waiting for the bus, and I was working a labor job, and I'm coming home. I got my high vis jacket, not the little, the vest.
Yeah.
The whole jacket, the pants, the hat, everything is orange and yellow and red. Waiting for the bus, standing there, and I feel somebody bump into me from behind. I turn around. Sure enough, it's one of these smartphone people, walking around, droning around, and I turned around, I looked at him, and I said, Wait, you didn't see me standing here, did ya? And he looked at me, totally embarrassed, his face turned red, because he saw that there's no reason for him not to have seen me.
Kind of obvious. You're not going to say you're a little guy, but you're a lot bigger than I am.
Yeah,
it's hard to miss.
6'2", pushing 210 pounds at my heaviest, but like
You're tall.
couldn't miss me.
Woo! Sorry.
Bumps right into me. And it's this type of a mentality, or not lack of mentality, that it's going to be. It causes, I believe, a hindrance in the human spirit, because we're not utilizing the human spirit when we walk around blind and deaf.
Well, that's ultimately, I think, is where we're gonna go with this topic, is because the NPCs, in my opinion, are like clones. Right? And a lot of people don't want to go down that road or discuss that shit, but anything they're talking about in the mainstream now that you see on the internet or in the news,
movies.
has been, yeah, in the movies, especially in the movies, because they put that shit out there to warn the people. But anything that you see now going on has already been going on in the government's systems, background fucking shit that we don't see for 20, 30 years.
Well, at least,
right?
Yeah.
like, that's the only way they could properly implement it is to have the plan. And you got to think in that, then you have to plan it, and then acquire the resources, and then you got to implement it. Well, it's like they say, right? Any technology that we have out today is 20 to 30 years behind what the military has, which kind of makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You want to stay protected. No, I'm good on that. You know, you got to be ahead of the populace, because what's stopping us now from going ahead and just doing what the military does? They'd have to put limitations, right? And that's. I think in that case, it's a good thing to have those limits, because there's a lot of crazy people out there, and it's kind of scary to think what some of these people could actually do. Just with the means that they already have, it's like it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's like the bad energies and the evil is just so much rampant than what I've noticed they used to be. That, or people just weren't aware, and because like we have the cell phones now, so it's videos, it's pictures, right? It's more recordable and more showable.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's right.
Yeah, and you see these people just, like I said, like just lost. Like they don't, it's like they're not even here mentally. They're just here physically. You know what I mean?
I think that's the whole purpose of the cell phones.
The black screen, fuck the black
right?
sheep.
Everyone, you ever heard of the mark of the beast?
Yes.
That could be these,
Yeah,
right? Because so
definitely
many
could be.
people just like you said, bury their nose in their cell phones. They forget the world is an actual place and that there's reality. They're stuck in this VR, if you will,
Yes.
right? And that's what they're stuck to. So if the phone says you gotta jump, well, we gotta go jump, boys.
And I don't I hear what you're saying, but I would say that this thing has addictive qualities where it takes us away from things that absolutely should be done first and foremost.
Yep.
You know, you get home, you're tired, I get that. You know, you worked all day and all night. And
Yeah.
This is some real talk. And we take a look at sit down in a lazy boy chair or whatever your comfortable space is, and we turn on the phone or we turn on we start watching these YouTube videos or movies or whatever it is, and it's thought which is being wasted on people who are trying to get into our minds and into our subconscious, and advertising, you're too poor, you have to go out and work more, everything is getting more and more expensive, and the pretty girl, deserves to be punched in the face or whatever, or the pretty boy needs to be punched in the face.
Well, that goes again, excuse me, back to the video games, right? Because what was that fucking whatever number they're on now? Grand Theft Auto, was it? That's a big popular one, right?
That's right.
Where you could pick up hookers or kill or
steal cars.
Yeah. What could you do in that shit?
Right. Anything.
And the NPCs, which would be the hooker, the cab driver, or whatever, they react the same way every time, and it's like there's no consequence to it. Because if you give it a moment or so, that NPC will just pop back up, dust themselves off, and keep walking along their merry way. That's not life. That's not real life. But a lot of people are starting to treat real life in that manner. There's no value placed on your brother's presence and your brother's life. The onus is being taken off of, am I my brother's keeper, and things like that. We're too busy trying to figure out how to monetize this next YouTube video that this crew with this great video that we found, to get distributed more and all this other stuff. I'm not saying, this being a podcast, it's a great thing and it's a great forum if it's used properly. Otherwise, we become a part of the NPC crowd. And
well, we definitely ain't no NPCs because we are original thinkers. We all have individual thought, and that's why I like you guys, and that's why you're on my show, because you're not just some fucking clone and some drone just agreeing with everything I say, right? You have your own opinions, you have your own thoughts, and that's what makes a good show and makes good conversation, that we can agree to even disagree at times. And
absolutely,
it's like the thing, this whole matrix system that we're in, right? And that's what I like about those movies, The Matrix, is because all those Smith characters, and right, how they can just take over the NPCs.
Yeah.
The non-player characters who are just going to their regular job every day, and then all of a sudden you got Neo walking by, and then Smith's tapped into the subconscious of the NPCs and sees them, and then he just takes over that NPC because that person doesn't have original thought, and to be able to say, whoa, what's going on here? But again, they're just a program in this system that we're in. And I think a lot of people are programs in this fucking system that we're in.
well,
100%.
it would make sense.
Pickles. Go ahead, Pickles.
So, I totally agree with that, right? Because how you got to lead them along somehow. You have to build them up to what you need them to be. And you're not really going to get your desired results unless you control the results. Or you control the tests, sorry, not the results. You control the test. Right, so you can fudge numbers, you can fudge statistics, and you can also fudge the way you ask and you do certain tests, right? So if I want you to, learn how to totally trench better, I'm going to kind of shift you more into the trenching area. Or if I want you, to be more of like a pilot, well, I'm going to put more of the NPCs who are more pilot programs, right? And that's what's going to draw your attention and get your brain kind of focused and learning into that kind of energies in those kind of fields, you know what I mean?
That kind of funneling of energy.
Yeah. And well, that's how you would control the thoughts and get the ones you can't control to do the things you want.
Let's talk about energy for a second, because those characters, they're mostly clueless, right? And it's what we give our energy to, because I get pissed off a lot of times and I have to just check myself and be like, well, they have no clue what the fuck is going on, so I gotta watch my energy so I don't exert it and be all pissed off at some, just person that is clueless. Just to tap on that energy point.
Right. Well, it's I think it goes unnoticed by a lot, and I think it should be more relevant and more addressed and more frequently known.
There's a little spark of a light bulb just came on, and every day I think about there are things that remind me of grown folks would tell me when I was a kid, like when I was like a little kid, like if I did something silly or not correctly or made a big mistake and effed up, right? Fucked up. My uncle will go like, Kevin, what were you thinking? And passionate about it.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
what I
did
was
shit.
thinking.
I wasn't thinking anything.
I was
And that
autopilot.
just that question alone has, it's kind of bounced on and off of my beautiful brain over the years. Every once in a while, I kind of ponder it with, like, what I'm for. What am I supposed to be thinking? But other than that, it's like he wanted to understand how my brain got to the point where I made a decision to do the fucked up thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
Meanwhile, your
explain,
brain's only just
show me.
developing.
It's
As a
just, yeah.
child.
What are you thinking?
It's just like math class. You know the answer, but the teacher always says what? show your work, otherwise you fail that question. How did
I
you
hated
come up
math
with
class.
this? What formulas did
Right.
you use to
To
get
show
to
that you
this?
didn't cheat off the next man.
Yes.
Math was not my best subject.
Oh,
Shit.
yeah, for sure.
Mine either, not until I got into higher grades.
Mine was non-existent. I was, yes, in that case, I would have been, because I didn't pay any attention to it, it hurt my head. So I would just sit there and zone out for the whole class. Nothing, I don't understand shit, so I'm just zoning out, thinking about Scooby-Doo or
I was
whatever the
writing
hell.
rhymes or drawing nudie pictures.
But
Mine
in
was
that
doing like
moment,
you. Stickman art was my
Stick
thing.
man, yeah.
but in that
Fucking-
moment,
Holy shit, sorry, bro.
You know-
I just I made this. Remember those flip books,
oh yeah.
comic books? I did this one. It was called Evil Stick Man.
Evil Stick Man.
Yeah, and he had this
I
kid,
made a
and he
few.
just fucking ran around doing all this bad shit. Sorry. But see, that
So-
just shows that we're not fucking regular. We're not the non-player characters. We're actually players, right?
Yeah.
In math class, I was an NPC. I was just part of the background.
Yeah, but we're talking about in life in general.
in life in general,
Right, agreed. And I think there's a certain grace period too, right? Because like you were saying, what were you thinking at 4 years old? Well, you don't even know how to even describe
Yeah,
it
even
because you're just
answer
trying
that
to figure
question.
it out, right?
That's
I don't
right.
know because I'm trying to learn.
This is the first time I've ever seen this in my whole life.
Yeah. So,
The 4 years that I've been on this planet in this consciousness.
See,
It's,
this is why I was drawing nudie pictures in school, because at 4 years old, I was fucked up by my babysitter who did some shit to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's not good.
No. Yeah, but again, that's a whole nother show. But right now we're just talking about the people that we see that just look clueless, right?
Yeah, the ones that just
Mm.
don't seem to be able to really formulate actual thoughts anymore. You're like, hey, how's it going? Good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the one word answers, which is I think is.
I will,
That's in the
and when
background. How's it going?
well, because I know for myself, I don't just kind of like, I'm not going to ask you how you're doing unless I'm genuinely interested in, hey, how are you? What kind of,
Yeah,
what
'cause
kind of
most
mood are
people
you
just
in,
give
that
me
kind of
that,
thing.
yeah, good.
And so many people are just like dry, good, or you?
Mhm.
Huh? No,
Or the
seriously.
programmers, you can tell the ones that are programmed by, no matter what the weather. Hey, how's the weather? Or what do you think about the weather? They always bring up that weather question.
The icebreaker.
There's nothing else to talk about.
So,
What do you think of the weather today?
so then would that be on the partake of the person asking the questions for not really expressing more interest when starting the conversation? Hey, how's it going? How was your weekend? What'd you do?
Yeah.
Right? Would you feel more engaged and more inclined to conversate back and then, hey, what's up? How's it going?
Oh, of course. You
So-
know.
What? Say that again?
So the way you ask the question, so is it your fault for giving me the basic answer, or is it my fault for asking a basic question? And then kind of expecting more of an answer than a basic one based off my
Well, it's no
question,
one's
right?
it's no one's fault per se. It's just you. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, who's really the player and who's the non-player
Yeah.
by asking those questions. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on the answer you get. But the one asking the question, I would say that was just to be the icebreaker. Just
Yeah.
to see where it's gonna lead. Are you fucking in the game, or are you just standing around?
So Hard Rock, let me ask you this: how's the weather?
The weather, actually, for Winnipeg, the weather's pretty good right now.
You lying?
What?
It is cold outside.
Yeah,
It's
but
cold,
it could
but
be
it's
minus
not-
25
it's-
right now and 3 feet of snow.
And it could be windy.
It was earlier.
Considering this is November and Winnipeg, shit.
We don't
It's
have
cold,
3
but-
feet of snow yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
because I ain't got no winter
Count the
tires.
blessings.
Right?
Snow life.
Oh man, this Winnipeg cold business sucks, but we're trying to make the best of it and stay warm and put out some good content for the world to see and just talk about everyday life and and the people who don't actually know why they're even here.
Yeah, that's right. And when I think about the conversation and the people that are going to be watching this, if you agree with what you're saying, awesome. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's awesome, too.
Love to hear
You're
it.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it, and you might mention something. Oh, I was watching this stupid podcast, and these idiots were blah blah blah. That's a conversation that he's having with somebody, and people are thinking. Same on the other side of it. Oh man, you should check out this podcast. I love that these guys are, they talk about, things
Some
that
real
matter.
shit.
Some real talk with hard rock.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. We're just trying to bring it because you're not gonna see this stuff on the program mainstream.
It's unscripted.
Unscripted, right on, man. I like that.
I think that's the best way to put it because news just, it's scripted. They're reading from a prompter. They're being told what to say, right? So it's,
Yeah.
you feel less like,
And trying to program the people.
well, yeah, it's scripted, right?
It's funny when
It doesn't feel like the reality part of it anymore.
I enjoy when like a Stephen Colbert his team puts together like a compilation video of a news piece that's come across the wire, and word for word each anchor in each city or each state or each county, word for word they're reading off the scripted headline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious to me because it's
I don't like that dude.
it's like the programming, and they're telling people what to think.
Yeah, that Tucker dude from that
Tucker Carlson?
guy.
Yes.
That guy I like.
Right?
Yes.
And his whole thing with quitting Fox, from what I heard and what I've read and I've seen in his videos, it was because they wanted to try to change it and change what he wanted to be as a journalist. And I respect that. He had all of the fame at Fox, right? Like, he was the number one watched show down there for news. So when he left Fox, it was a big hit. And then to find out why, it was just like, he didn't go into much details, but to find out that it's because he couldn't be him. I respect that. You branched off and did your own thing because you wanted to be real.
Because you don't want to be controlled and just be an NPC in this game.
Yeah.
You want to be the player, right?
And you
And
see
you have an opinion and you have a voice and people are listening. So if you have the opportunity to present the truth, which we're trying to do, and just talk about regular things, but right now the NPCs, we're just trying to bring truth. And it's like my man said, it's unscripted.
Right. Well, raise the consciousness level, right? And I think that's what it ultimately comes down to, is like an NPC wouldn't have a conscience. Right? They wouldn't be able to be like, oh, what I'm doing is actually bad, right? They're just doing.
They're just doing.
Right? They don't, like you said, they don't think about the consequences or what their actions are causing or doing.
They don't even know what consequences are.
Yeah.
They're just shells just walking around and just being on a groove forever.
And not
Stuck on
realizing
repeat.
that if we get in a little deeper into the whole spiritual aspect of things, and that we are spirit beings, a lot of these players don't have the soul. They don't have a soul. If they're fucking cloned,
They just, like you
Right?
said, be vessels.
yeah,
And
they're
NPCs.
not they don't have that divine spark because they're not created, and then they don't come from the divine. They're just a fucking vessel of, I don't even know what they would be, a clone.
They're the difference between a character and a caricature.
Like
Like
Swiss
a
and
character.
They're both cheese, but fucking one has holes in it. Get more deep on that, man, please.
Well, a character, I think,
I'm the whole character and character.
is,
Because wording is another fucking big thing too.
yeah, exactly. So, character is a real thinking, feeling, living, breathing person. But a caricature is a drawing of that, or a sculpted inanimate image of that.
Okay.
Not necessarily inanimate, but just kind of a zombie droning kind of an existence.
Almost like a mini-me, but not quite living.
Something to look at, but nothing inside, completely empty, just full of hot air. A lot to be said about being full of hot air.
As long as you don't have none right now.
Okay.
Well,
That
shows
comes out the back
emotion.
end.
I had those eggs for brunch yesterday.
Yeah, we don't want that out there. But that's another reason why we like the incense. Just
Smart. They're hard.
Okay, Pickles, go on, man.
About
Give
what?
us something. Give us something. Give me an experience that you've had. Give me a real life experience with an NPC that you've encountered.
Just in general, like I can't really just describe it because I observe it and then just shake my head like at the store. Person goes, brings it out, grabs the receipt after paying for it, but never grabs the item, never comes back for it, and then you come back and do the same thing. Like, okay, like don't get me wrong, I've had my moments, but I've never made it a few steps outside the door without being like, I came here and bought something, and then okay, gotta go back and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just flustered and you're in those moments, but like, just no, you gotta.
I had an encounter like that at Shoppers Drug Mart. Didn't even check my receipt, but I had the shit I wanted, right? Because I went there specifically for something, got it, went home. Then I looked at my receipt, and I'm like, what the fuck? She charged me for something that I didn't even buy. It was like, I think maybe under $10 or something, and I'm like, is it worth the effort to even go back? But then I'm like, no, man, she fucked up. I'm going back, whatever. And then when I got back there, she's even looking at the bill like,
How did this happen?
yeah, like, I'm like, I didn't buy this shit. You
Yeah.
charged me for this shit, so just give me my money back. And then she had to call someone else over because she didn't even fully understand. Or if she did, I don't know. Like, did she do it on purpose and then she took the item? Because I don't even remember what it was. Or did she accidentally do it? But she just had no clue. Like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Check the security cameras for little old ladies. Short little old ladies.
like gremlins?
Yeah. They latch on to you. They put their shit on the
Put
counter.
shit in the cart.
Oh yeah, my son's taking care of this.
See, my daughter did that when she was young. Took something in the stroller and got home. We got home as when I was married with my wife, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I'm like, "No, man. I'm not. Don't teach her that it's okay to just take something like that." So I took my daughter back and explained, "Hey, she accidentally took this, whatever. Try to bring them up right.
Yeah.
Not to be just some going through life like clueless."
Yeah.
But anyways, that was a morality check, that one.
Question morals on that a little bit. I mean, I can see that, but is that like environment versus nurture? So would that be upbringing? So would that NPC like characteristics become from parenting, zombie parenting, essentially?
Yes.
Yes, because you're
Absolutely.
not teaching or training
You're
a
not-
child to be a player.
right? So how do you break that?
It's drastic measures at this point, because I'm 52 years old, so I have to understand, and I make my complaints. We need to go back to how things were when I was a kid. Well, it can happen, but 50 years in, 50 years out, there has to be a concerted effort from everybody to incrementally make those changes, to go back to what our generation would consider to be. We still had some morals about us, and we still had family seemed to have meant a lot more and more close knit. I can remember filling the house with like 30 people for Christmas.
Yeah.
And in my family, it doesn't happen anymore.
Did you guys have that fucking couch that you couldn't sit on?
Oh, no.
In the front room?
No,
with the plastic on it?
We
Oh, that's a nice room. Some fucking families had it roped off, man, that you couldn't even go in that room.
Oh, yeah.
Like black families, I don't know about,
I had certain rooms I wasn't allowed in, but that was because that was the what they call it. It wasn't the family room. That was the guest room or the
showroom.
Yeah, it was the den. It was like you just weren't allowed in there unless there was company over and you had guests, and then it was okay to be there. But if it was just you and your friend, no. You had to be in your bedroom or outside. Yeah. You had to be outside.
Well, and if you look at it, and if you go in those rooms these days, when we were kids, outside. Yeah, it was like an artistic outlet, I think, because these rooms are beautifully, just immaculately done, with little lace doilies on the pillow, a mint. It's just like a 42-year-old mint sitting on the pillow. Now that's for guests. I don't want that anymore.
Fucking the Christmas candy dish that you try to get one and the whole thing comes up because they're all stuck together because they've been sitting there for 5 years.
Yeah.
Ours were the little white candies with the swirled, and they were the strawberry and like the caramel flavors.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what my grandma always had those things, or the Werther's Originals.
The Werther's Originals, and I was just thinking about the Werther's, and I started buying, y'all. I'm buying things that are age appropriate. Remember those little sesame honey snap crackers? Sesame crackers.
The 4-pack, yeah.
Your mom always had them in her purse. I started buying those things and keeping them in my pocket, a couple in my backpack, just in case, a little snack. I share it with a little kid.
Yeah, when I was driving truck, I had those all the time, for sure.
Nowadays, for us, it's the granola bars, or the bear paws, or fruit snacks.
Oh yeah,
snacks.
Yeah.
Fruit snacks. Yeah. The kids, they love the fruit snacks.
They do. There's some fruit snacks that I think adults might enjoy a little bit more. that
we were supposed to get, from one of my friends. I promised some nice edibles for the show, but she hasn't come through. But whatever.
It's all good. It's all good.
Is
this girl pretty? She pretty?
Anyway, we're gonna buy our own edibles, and we're gonna do a mushroom show too one time.
Yes.
Because we are players in this motherfucking game of life, and we do what we want to do, and we want to do some mushrooms.
But don't ever call me Gargamel or Azrael for that matter. You can call me Papa Smurf.
I was just thinking that.
Fucking Garbage Smell. That was the best, that movie, that live movie. And that girl, she said, "Garbage smell." I like movies.
Yeah.
Me too. One of my favorites is The Love Guru. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one.
Who?
Love Guru.
Oh, Mike Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never watched the whole thing.
You're missing out. For some people, it's it's kind of it's Mike Myers, so you gotta like the guy.
Big
right?
up,
Yeah.
Mike Myers, Canadian.
Right? I find him hilarious. I love the guy, but that movie's my favorite.
He's great on just on so many levels. Like,
I agree. Well, in that movie,
how many
he did
characters does a dude come up with?
He's been in a lot of movies.
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I think he starred in 4 of them in the same film.
What's the Netflix one that he did? That fucking conspiracy shit. That was good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I
can't
was
think of the
loving
name,
that stuff when
yeah,
it
that
was
was
out.
good. Damn,
Yeah,
anyone
I
know
should
the
go back and
name?
rewatch
Put it in
it.
the comments.
Yeah,
I don't have
I want
Netflix
to
no
got
more.
some crazy freaking turns and twists and some
But
cool
he's definitely, you see that right there, that's a good example of a player in this game. Because he's creative, he's expressing himself, and he's not no drone, just taking orders. Or who knows what he has to do in Hollywood, whatever. But he's a very creative guy, man, and he expresses himself through his art, and I love that.
Have you seen the videos of Jim Carrey, another Canadian actor? But
Big
crazy
up
thing-
Jim Carrey, yep.
Yes.
He's kind
Funny
of
as
crazy
fuck.
videos that he does now when he goes out. Like, so I was at the Grammys, and sitting in the wrong section, and then he made this really big stink about it. But it
Yes.
was like hilarious. But he was like, he was also pissed. I mean, I would be kind of mad too. That's Jim
Yeah,
Carrey,
and then
man.
there's
You let him
someone
sit
saying-
there.
You're not even winning this year, or nominated or something, and then he went on some rant.
But what about like the Illuminati stuff? Did you see him like go on that Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was, show and talk about how it was real and all the
What do you call it, Illuminati?
Illuminats?
To make fun of it or something, whatever. Come on, Jimmy, you know what it is.
Yeah, I called him out and the guy got real nervous. Like,
Yeah.
think that was kind of scripted, or do you think that was just kind of one of those wild? I'm gonna just do this to get
That was
attention
just
and views.
I'm a fucking I am a player in this game. I'm not an NPC, and this is what I'm gonna say. And yeah, a lot of people got fucking ruffled feathers when he broke out and said that.
Right? But why didn't he get the same? What's his name? The comedian. They did that to you. Made like $500 million, and they only gave him like 50. And then he told everyone's going to believe you're a crackhead.
Dave Chappelle.
That's it. Yeah, that guy. Like, why didn't he get the Chappelle treatment?
Here's kind of my take on these kinds of things. Like when and everybody talks about the slap, the Smith slap. And there's so many. The thing is, I wouldn't question the event itself. I would question why were we allowed to
Keep
see
my
it.
wife's name out your fucking mouth. Sorry to interrupt you, man. When you said this Smith slap, that shit was hilarious.
Well, but because knowing what the tech involved is, switching a camera on and off,
Killing himself.
like, why you have to question why were we allowed to see it?
Oh fuck! Well, it was live, wasn't it?
So
But
it's never
it's
live.
always on a
There's
website.
always
They say it's
delays.
live, but-
There's always
Yeah.
delays.
Of course,
don't kid
that was
yourself.
one of those Hollywood. What do you call that shit? Rituals, humiliation rituals. That's what that was
That's right.
for Will Smith to advance to the next level. That's what I think.
Maybe, but I don't think it was really like that embarrassing. Really, as like some of the other stuff they do. Like they make them wear dresses and then dance around and like that to
They've
me
been
would
doing
be
that
more
for years,
embarrassing.
and that's what.
than-
That's why Chappelle took off, because he said, "Hell no, I'm not putting no dress on."
Came
Right, and
came
then-
at him with completely different scripts and everything else.
Yeah, that was totally just as funny. Which I would believe would be if he would have stuck around and actually did them.
Yeah, but then he would have been just selling out and playing right into their
Nah, I'm good on that.
roll into their shit, man. So I'm glad he said no. You call me crackhead if you want. I'm out of here,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not gonna be controlled.
Respect.
I'm not gonna be taken over by Smith.
Yep. Keep your name.
Right? I love those movies, man. I think part 5 is coming out. Did you see this?
For what?
For the Matrix?
Part 5?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I don't know how real it is. I seen some trailer the other day and it said Matrix 5.
You just wasn't sure it wasn't clickbait.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know how real it was.
Right.
But it showed Lawrence Fishburne.
Or fan made.
Yeah. Because it showed other clips from the other movies, but it looked like new clips too, so I don't know. But I hope so, because I love those movies. I wrote a fucking song called The Matrix Mission. Before I even knew what The Matrix was, I had to look that shit up in the dictionary because I was like, what the hell does that even mean? And I was like, oh man, yeah. And that word's even in the Bible, translated from whatever, but meaning matrix. But yeah, we totally live in a matrix, man, like a game, like some people say that you see out there, right? In YouTube land and podcast world, talk about how we live in a simulation.
Mm.
Yeah, and that simulation could just be the consciousness. Because I think the whole goal in life, in any sort of life, would be to expand consciousness. And I think that's what gives us instincts, is the collective consciousness. Everything's connected through the energies, right? It's all that energies, the frequencies. They all vibrate, they all resonate. You can't destroy energy, right? You can only transform it.
Energy's
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, so it just transforms, and as we proceed through life and we grow and we attune to different things throughout our journeys, it's how I forget how you would explain it, but if I learned it and it was consecutive, right, you would learn it. Like, although I watched this video of the scientists, they took 100 monkeys and they put them on this island. There was no other monkeys.
Monkeys, Bruce Willis, good movie.
Good actor.
But yeah, I think you were telling me about that. Go on with that.
So the 100 monkeys on the island, and it's all full of coconuts.
Pass me some of that pickle bud down there, bro.
Homegrown. Winnipeg. Egg City. It's not that dank ditch weed either.
We're
It's
gonna
good
try some
stuff.
homegrown.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
So
anyhow,
yeah, the 12
so
monkeys. What was it?
the monkeys, so 100 monkeys on the island.
100 monkeys.
100 monkeys, okay? And it's not their natural habitat, so they weren't sure on how to eat. Okay, so one guy went in and they taught one monkey how to clean the coconuts up so that they could actually get at it and eat the meat. Well, he went back, taught the other monkeys. And so eventually, after a couple of years, those 100 monkeys all learned how to eat the coconuts.
Mm.
Well, they did the same thing with another different 100 monkeys on another island. And those monkeys already knew how to eat the coconuts. And that's through
Yes.
the connection of consciousness where we get instincts. Why do birds always fly south? Well, it could be the poles too, right? The poles guide them. But it's also the instinct through the collective consciousness where that's the frequencies that they're attuned to. And so that's what they get fed
the story
as
being like that.
energies.
It's one mind.
Yeah, essentially, if we're all in a simulation, essentially that's what it is. It's the computer simulation. It's the one mind playing through different scenarios.
Yes.
And through each scenario, we learn something, and that's how we collect through the consciousness. It's almost like we're different raindrops, essentially, into one dewdrop.
I love the giant flocks of birds that do their, they morph into different shapes as a group. And
the
flying around.
insta turns and it's milliseconds.
And it's all coordinated thought. Like the whole group knows what the next few moves are going to be based on the thoughts of the leader, or the ideas, or the energies of the leader.
Because they swap leader position, right? Because it's not always the same bird leading, because he fucking gets tired, so he drops back, and then the next bird, they alternate and they work as a unit, like Wu-Tang. I'm watching that new show, man. It's dope, fuck.
It's a good show, man.
But
I'm enjoying
about the birds and stuff. Yeah, they work as a unit, and then not one is always the leader. They alternate and they take shifts and they take over to lead the flock.
Yeah, it's not just one. It's like a hive mind almost.
Well, that's a wholly another thing too, the hive mind, because that fucking totally took over in 2020.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of people just
followed.
Yeah, and you know,
And yeah.
we don't want to say the wrong words on that on that one.
Yeah. That's going into some uncharted.
But we're gonna wrap
territory.
it up soon here, so yeah, let's get back to the original topic. I got my game over symbol on the dice today because we in a game, video game simulation. Some believe, I think we are. It feels that way most times with the people I encounter.
And just the way things work out to you. Well, I mean, what if that's how we all come up to our own? You have no Murphy's Law is, so if something bad can happen,
Only
it's
Murphy
will
I know is
happen.
Eddie.
What about Charlie?
Strong.
Oh yeah, Charlie too. But yeah, that Murphy's Law. If you adhere to those things, then yeah, you're gonna bring that into your reality, right?
It's your manifestations.
Yeah.
It comes into your belief system. And, you know, once that's hardwired, it takes a lot of work to rewire your brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's, impossible. Oh, you doomed yourself for the rest of your life. Nah, I don't believe that. But I believe that if you recognize yourself to be in a position where you are just droning, you have to allow yourself to get irritated enough sometimes to make a change and make a conscious choice to walk in a different direction.
Mm-hmm. And I think it comes down to the effort that people are just willing to put in nowadays. Sometimes it's
A lot of times it takes a fucking shake up to wake someone up, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually
to realize, hey, I can actually make a change, or I could actually do something different. I don't have to conform to the norm and just be a fucking drone in this life, in this game, right? Because we're only here for a little short time. So yeah, we got to go to work, we got to maintain job money and whatever, but try to do something that you love as well, because we're all here for a purpose. We're not here just to, well, some of us are here because, there are those fucking non-player characters that are in this motherfucking matrix that we're in to just take up space and to just make it look real, like
fuller and like
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like the idea of the city, well, you can't have a city if there's not a lot of people there, right? And you can't follow a mass if there's no mass to follow.
Yeah.
But our minds are kept busy, for the most part, I think, as a whole, as a society. Our valuable time that we can, it's taken up by thoughts that are keeping us kind of in line. And but if you try,
all you got to do is just try.
Make a tiny little change tomorrow. Next day, make another tiny little change, and keep making these tiny little changes. And look at yourself after a month, or maybe even 2 months, and everything around you will have changed. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot, probably more than you think.
I would agree to that, especially if one of those small changes is more general gratitude.
Absolutely.
If you express that more
Yes,
to people,
gratitude.
I think that's how you would get the biggest change in your life. It's just more that personal thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that help. Thank you. It means a lot, man. I appreciate. If you need help,
Yeah,
let me know.
I totally agree. Especially like I said before, in the hospitality business. Like if you're serving someone and they say thank you, say you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people just be like,
Yep.
thanks. Fuck, I hate that. That truly bugs me, man. Those are the fucking non-players.
Yeah,
They're just there
that's
to
right.
take up space and just to serve your coffee with no gratitude, no inspiration, aspiration to do anything different than just programs. But there's I had a real nice one. Oh, I said thank you. She's like, oh, you're welcome. Have a wonderful day. And I was like, thank you so much. You too, because you don't get that too often.
No, yeah, and it's almost like winning the lottery when you hear that kind of thing,
Right?
you know. Oh, you're a real
You're real,
person.
yeah, you get it.
You know,
Yes.
some of the best gratitude comes from elderly ladies. Like if you hold the door open for them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." You know, I thought chivalry was dead. And it's like, "Oh man, it's been my pleasure. Thank you. No worries, I'm already here." They just seem so appreciative that you actually held the door for them.
Yeah,
Like you're right. You don't see it enough anymore. It's almost gone. It's almost forgotten practice.
Some, and then you still see those ones like, well, I can hold the door myself.
The ones that just kill chivalry.
Yeah, oh, man. I get it. You're in the game. You're an actual player, but fuck, have a little bit of gratitude,
Right?
thankfulness that someone's holding the door for you, or just whatever, you know.
Yep.
Man, I love those videos you see, like them women, walking whatever, and the guy be like, "Hey, you gonna get your number or something?" No, I got a man, blah, 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 blah. And then he gets in his hot ride, his fucking whatever, Lamborghini or some shit. Oh, that's your ride? I thought you had a man. Oh, well, I don't really have a man. Oh, man.
The gold digger videos.
Just turn right around.
Seen somewhere the dude's trying to flag her down because she's left the pump in her gas tank. I got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, you just left half the gas tank or a gas pump in your gas tank. Sorry for bothering you. Oh my god. And then storms off like it's your fault.
Yeah. Oh man, pissed off. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. This world, but that's what makes it good and interesting. If you realize that you can do things to alternate the fucking game when you're a player, you know, find those cheat codes.
Yeah, and I think it's really
Wake
just
up.
trying to find those other real playable living characters, and not just those ones. Like the NPCs can have different kind of programs too, right? They can be doing more like race car driving or like pilots or something, right? They're all over. They can be doing anything, so they could just be leading you into that ride.
Oh, like that woman on the plane. That's whatever that. That's not a real person.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting next to that person. I don't care. Whatever. Let me off the plane. That woman. Yeah. What the fuck did she see?
But if you listen to your gut or you feel your gut, you spot those other real people.
Yeah.
You'd
Absolutely.
be walking around, you know, a shopping mall or in the park or whatever, and you see somebody walking on their own, and you could see that. You could feel that there's something different. And you're like, hey, man.
I got drive.
And you start an hour-long conversation just by accident. And 9 times out of 10, that person will say to you, I really feel like I know you from somewhere. And it's that energetic match, that kind of, almost
match.
intangible connection that you can, like a little feeling. That person seems like a cool person to talk to. Not a word exchanged between you yet.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like a spark and desire for a little to find out more. Your curiosity kind of just perks up, and you're like, oh yeah,
who's this person?
Yeah, what else does he do? I don't know.
I wonder if those are real.
Mm-hmm.
That's really real. That's really
I wonder
Hey,
if
right
they
on.
float.
Final thoughts. Pickles. Kick it.
Come back. Well, I think people just need to think more and conversate more generally and stop with the hate and the anger. And look, find narratives and not be that NPC. Find the way out of that groove. You know, be a playable character. Take control of your life. Think and get to where you want to be. Quit blaming others and, depending on other people for everything. You got to be the one to get what you want. Manifest it and then get it.
Right? Nice.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
KB.
Yep. Your
So-
turn. Put me on the spot.
When
It's real talk, baby. Real talk.
Unscripted.
Put you on the spot.
I totally agree. You know, if you have a thought and it's safe and you're in a safe, you're not going to hurt anybody, or
Definitely need that reason.
follow it up. Don't just kind of entertain the thought for a moment and just let it float by. If it's something that's compelled you enough to think about it already for a minute or two, follow it up. Take some notes. Do a couple of Google searches. But do something, because that's going to make some change in the direction that your life is going. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. You might be in a kind of a droning state or an NPC state, but you're not doomed to that by no means.
Nope.
You can do anything you want.
You just
Hard rock.
you got to do it. And just
If you realize that you are a player, right? Because fucking, like I said, I think we're in somewhat of a simulation, and there's people in this simulation that are just here to fucking fill up space and to just be the robot and to be the drone, right? But if you know you're not one of those people, and you can actually figure out your purpose, because the people who are not the NPCs are here for a reason and are here to fulfill a purpose, and we all interact to help each other, and we all buffet each other, right, to make each other stronger and to help each other figure out what the purpose is in life. Because we're not just here to just fucking go through this life and just not to enjoy it, first of all, right?
right. That's kind of feels like what it is nowadays. Is you're not allowed to enjoy it. You need to be constantly stressed, and you need to make more money. You need to pay the bills, and if you have to have a certain lifestyle, you got to live within these means. If you're not, well, then you're just kind of like frowned on, and then society kind of just shit on you.
And I'm likening the idea of an NPC to the same thing as a piece of furniture. Like some place for the players to have something to bounce off of, or take a rest with, or just to be used without any kind of a
That's
thought.
what I was thinking, just to be used.
Okay, yeah. I know this guy's.
Because I've had some of those NP3s in my bed, and they'd be like, "What? Come on, girl! Like, what the fuck? Are you with this or what?"
Yeah. Are you doing this for pretend, baby girl?
All right, but we're gonna end it on that note. We'd like to thank y'all for watching, tuning in, listening, and being a part of the Hard Rock Real Talk podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Right on.
First podcast, so it's
all right.
Good experience. Thank you again, expanding that consciousness.
Oh
yes.
Like, subscribe, and share. Is that what the?
That's what they say. Yeah, but you know what? I feel of course, followers would be great and everything, but I'm not one of those ones that like, subscribe, and share, and because I'm not in this to try to make money per se. I'm just trying to spread awareness, spread consciousness, and just get the real shit out there, right? So bless up. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, one love. Peace.
Yeah.
This has been a